Hey folks, I'm just out here in the Olympic Park, have a look. Ooh, look at that. Lovely evening. And I'm here looking for something really specific. I'm going to set my camera around so you can take a look. So we're looking for the lime tree, which is also known as the linden tree. Really easy to spot. You see them here in June, July, and they'll have these pale green sort of leaves on them. And they'll also have these sorts of flowers. That's what we're searching for today, and we're going to infuse those into vodka and make some awesome lime blossom vodka. Okay, so now it's time to infuse your vodka. So first thing you want to do is you want to take your lime blossoms that you collected. Now, one thing you want to be really careful of with lime blossoms is that you check them for bugs, because bugs love these. These are the trees that when you're walking around in late summer, you'll see like the floor around them is sticky, and that's because aphids love them, and they suck on them and they leak out honeydew, and sometimes their leaves can be covered in a kind of sweet, sticky sap. And actually the leaves and stuff are edible, but the bits we're interested in are these flowers, these blooms, these nice little things here, and these pale green leaves that sit on the flowers. That's what we want. So we're just going to take off a few of these and just drop them into a sterilised jam jar. Just run some boiling water over your jam jar for about 30 seconds. Just make sure it's nice and clean. We are putting vodka in there, but still pays to work. So just popping a few of these in. We don't need loads. You can see this is what happens to them. They go into sort of berries, and look, if they go in there, that's fine, but we don't need them. We've got a few flowers. And then one last one. So, you see in here, we've got just a few. We're not doing tons. Just a few blossoms. We're not trying to make a kind of bitters or anything. We're just making an infusion. And then into that, I'm just going to pour 100 millilitres of vodka. So that's just a nice, simple vodka, nothing special. It needs to be about 40%, and that's just so that you can get it to dissolve well. And we're just going to take that, we're going to seal it up. Leave that, give it a little swirl, and now leave that for 2 hours, 3 hours, and that's going to infuse nicely. Okay, so about 2 hours has passed now, so we've got our infused vodka, and simply all we're going to do is strain it out. Got a little tea strainer there. Just pour it out, strain the vodka out. You might need to fish out the lime leaves. Make sure there's none left inside. You don't want any little bits, particularly if there's any creeper crawlies. And then simply just pour your vodka back into your jar. And there you go, you've got your infused vodka, which we'll use to make our cocktail. So now you have your lime blossom vodka. As you can see, I've used a fair bit of this experimenting with various drinks, and time has passed, as you can see by my haircut. But don't worry, because this vodka will keep fairly long time. It'll keep at least 6 months, but after that it'll start to break down a bit. The subtlety, the freshness of the limes will start to deteriorate. So I wouldn't recommend making that much of it, because it won't keep. Today we're going to make a lime blossom martini. We're going to use white port rather than a standard dry vermouth, and that's just because we want to accentuate the sweet florality of the lime blossoms, and the dry vermouth will override it a little bit. I realised when I was making this drink that the name of honeydew melon, that kind of sweet, kind of light melon flavour, is actually from the honeydew produced by aphids that are feeding on lime trees, rather than honey. And you get that from this. The vodka itself tastes like honeydew. It's a light, sweet, nectar-like flavour. And so by adding the white port, we keep that nectar-like flavour in our martini. We're going to make a single measure martini, just a little small one. Great little drink, actually, for just coming home after dinner. If you don't want a full martini to knock your socks off, just a nice, light, single measure martini, which we're going to make in a moment. This drink really couldn't be any simpler. So just take yourself some ice in and mixing. I put it in a jam jar, it's always easier. And you're going to measure out a single measure. There's only a single measure left in here. Just pop it in an egg cup. It's about 25 mils. And then take yourself your white port. I'm using this Cockburn Porto Branco. And we're just going to add a tiny splash of this. not much at all. And then stir. We always stir a martini, never shake a martini, folks. And what we're waiting for is the glass that I'm in it to be cool, for it to cool down. We're just trying to slightly dilute this martini and get it to a nice chilled temperature. Nearly there. To about 5 to 10 seconds, and I can feel that this is now cold. And then what I'm going to do is, because I'm just using a jam jar, I'm not going to use a strainer or anything, I'm just going to, like the pasta water trick, I'm just going to hold the lid, and that's going to let me strain this out without much ice going in there. As I say, this is just a simple single measure martini. So once you've got your chilled drink there in the glass, it's time to think about how you're going to garnish this and really show people the connection with the lime tree. So I'm going to take one of these lime blossoms that I went out and collected earlier, nice and fresh, so they've still got lots of their scent there, and just lay it on top of the glass like this. And then you can serve that to somebody. Try not to knock it off the glass when you do so, but lay it on and just ask them before they take a drink just to smell that blossom and help them make the connection between the drink and the flower. So quick recap for those who joined us all the way to the end. We started off by taking some fresh lime blossoms and infusing that into vodka. We've then taken 25 ml of that lime blossom vodka, a splash of white port, and we stirred it together with ice for about 5 to 10 seconds before straining it into a glass. We've garnished it with a lovely sprig of that fresh lime blossom, the perfect reminder of late summer.